so much. Good afternoon to each of you. And thank you for considering this very important topic. We in the Vallejo City Unified School District have been taking on this whole issue with regard to the pipeline to prosperity for our young boys and men of color. That is our expectation, as opposed to the pipeline to prison that we created in many of our school systems. What I have before you is a several-page document that basically looks at the data for the Vallejo City Unified School District. I have been its superintendent for the last 2 years. I will continue to work with the school district because this is where my heart is. Our school district is 30% African American, 30% Latino, 20% Filipino, and then 10% a mix of white and other Asian groups. So you can see that it's critical that we get this right with regard to the education of our young people. Vallejo has been touted as one of the most diverse cities in the nation, actually, and therefore our school district is likewise one of the most diverse. What you'll see if you turn to the back pages, the appendix 3 of the document that has Vallejo City at the front, is you'll see what we were doing prior to my time. What we were doing is basically managing our classrooms by kicking certain kids out. In fact, in the ACLU report and in the Office of Civil Rights reports for the last couple years, we've been the top 10 suspending school district in the state. One of the top 10. Unacceptable. And when you look at the graphs, you'll see who was being kicked out of school. And surely it's the students that are of concern on this day. When it comes to suspension, we know from a number of ACLU reports that the pipeline to prison begins with the very first suspension. So I appreciate the fact that our chiefs of police are actively paying attention to this issue. I appreciate the fact that our chiefs of police and our probation departments are paying attention to this issue, but it is not until our school systems take this very seriously that we will be able to eradicate this pipeline to prison that starts in our schools. And therefore, here is what we've done in the Vallejo City Unified School District. We have implemented a program called Positive Behavior Intervention Support. We brought the expert Dr. Jeffrey Sprague from the University of Oregon. He's actually a lecturer in the special ed department there, but he's also written a book called Best Behavior Practices. And we've trained over 200, not only administrators, but community members, parents, staff members in positive behavior intervention support. Those teams then went back and put these systems in place in their own schools. And what you can see has been remarkable if you look at the data over time. You'll see that our suspensions have been cut probably by a third in the last 2 years, simply by implementing this intervention, not just the administrators, but teams. Administrators, teachers, community members, and in the case of high school students sit on these teams. In addition, you'll see that we've embarked upon the avenue of looking at restorative justice in our schools. Restorative justice basically is about ensuring that both the harmed and the harmer are brought back together when it's the case that there's been a serious matter that has taken place. So for example, a fight has occurred. The two students and their families are brought to the table after perhaps a suspension or whatever consequence. And then they talk about the issue and they come up with creative ways to make sure that the harmed and the harmer feel better about being in school. The last thing that I'll talk about with regard to this particular item is our grant with the Sierra Health Foundation.